All right, next up, the final one, who I think has a pretty clear favorite in the conference right now. That is the ACC, but there is a wide open race for who will be the second best team in the ACC this year. And last year, 2 ACC teams made the playoffs. So even if you don't win the conference, you could make the playoff in 2025. Dalton, who are you picking to make the ACC title game and win it this year?
All right, let's end the suspense on who we're taking to win it here. It's Clemson Tigers. I think it would be a major upset. I don't know if they're minus odds right now, but it would be a major upset if Clemson did not win the ACC. I think the easiest pick out of probably any conference that we've done here. The amount of talent's just crazy. Cade Klubnik, his top 3 receivers are back. Basically, his whole offensive line is back. The best D-line in the country with Peter Woods and TJ Parker and DeMonte Capehart. You've got a loaded second. You got everything. You got everything you could ask for in this Clemson team. And again, they're coming off a year where they were not supposed to win the ACC last year, and they did it anyway, and they played really – at least Cade Klubnik played really well in that playoff game against the best secondary in college football last year in Texas. Clemson's the easy pick. The hard part was picking a second-place team. I think it's wide open. Yeah. I think it's super wide open.
By the way, Clemson's plus 105 on DraftKings.
Close enough then.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it would be a major upset if Clemson did not run the table here in the ACC. And maybe one loss you mix in there. From they lost to Louisville last year. That was a tough one, but
maybe LSU was still undefeated in the conference.
They are far and away the most talented team in this conference, right?
I would say the country.
Maybe the country. Maybe Penn State's
not far and away, but I would say they're the most talented team in the country. Penn State, Texas. Obviously, Ohio State's always got talent, But I mean, it's just they're the prohibitive favorite. If you're not picking Clemson to win the ACC, you better have a good reason. Yeah.
You better have a darn good reason, or you just don't like Clemson. I mean, that's pretty much where it's at. But second place, a lot more wide open. Louisville. I like what Jeff Brom's got going with that program and getting Miller Moss in there. I like what their offense is going to look like. Miami, if you're going to have to replace Cam Ward, which he's really irreplaceable, you couldn't do a whole lot better than Carson Beck, even though I think that's still kind of a slight downgrade because Cam Ward, a lot of other years, would have won the Heisman last year, right? Georgia Tech, a lot of people are high on. SMU, Rhett Lashley's got that program going, but I'm worried about their front 7 and all the pieces they lost. I'm gonna take a weird sleeper because I just couldn't – it was hard for me to pick. Give me Manny Diaz and the Duke Blue Devils.
Wow, okay.
I'm going with the momentum here. Look, their defense was spectacular last year, as it should be under Manny Diaz. When you talk about especially Chandler Rivers and Terry Moore and that secondary, I think this is actually a sleeper. When you look at the schedules especially, and maybe finding a route to 10 wins or even 11, I think Duke's a sleeper playoff team.
Okay.
I do. I think with this defense, Darian Mensah coming in now at quarterback. The quarterback play was not great last year. Malik Murphy had his moments, but he also had moments in big games where it was inconsistent. I think Mensah can be more consistent than Murphy. They lost Star Thomas at running back, but they still have guys like Jaquez Moore back there, an experienced offensive line. And you look at this. I'm going to be honest with you, Max. You look at their schedule. They only play – so there's 4 teams ranked in the ACC, in the AP poll right now. Duke's only playing one of them, and that's Clemson. And they get them at home, and I'll be honest, with their secondary, they may be the most equipped to give them a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
Right? Because I have questions about Louisville's secondary. I have questions about Miami's secondary, all these other teams head-to-head against them. So I'm not saying that by any means they're going to go into Clemson and win. But look at the rest. I would say the next toughest game on their ACC schedule is probably Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
And that's at home. They only take one West Coast trip to Cal. I like them better than Cal. I'm going to tell you something right now with Duke. They go out week 2 at home, and they beat Illinois. You got a playoff contender. I'm telling you right now, between A, beating a team the quality of Illinois, and B, you just look at the rest of their schedule. At Tulane is so much fun with Darian Mensah, especially if it's Retzloff as Tulane's quarterback. But NC State, Syracuse, Cal, Virginia, UNC.
Don't sleep on the orange right there.
Oh, I'm Steve Angeli coming at you. But I really like the way this schedule sets up for Duke. They don't play Louisville. They don't play Miami. They don't play SMU. They get Georgia Tech at home. I'm not taking them to beat Clemson at Clemson. But this defense, the momentum Manny Diaz has, and this year they have a quarterback, I'm going to take a wild card. I'm going to take Duke as the second place team.
I love that. I really love that. I feel like this could be the year where we see an underdog come out of nowhere in the ACC this year. Maybe my Syracuse Orange, but I'm actually going to ride with the favorite and Donnie's pick as well, which I'm going Clemson over Miami to win the ACC this year. Miami, of course, felt like the favorite going into it last year. They screwed it up in the final game of the season against Syracuse. They could not make the ACC title game. Clemson got in over them. Clemson made the playoff over them because of that too. but I think Clemson will, of course, win the conference. I have Clemson right now as the best team in the country. We'll get to our playoff picks later this week on Thursday. Don't want to spoil anything yet there, but Clemson is so talented. I think they're easily a top 3 or 4 team in college football right now. And then Miami, trenches are loaded, right? They have a really good offensive line. Francis Mauigoa at right tackle could be a top 10 pick in the draft. Ruben Bain at edge rusher could also be a top 10 pick in the draft. Some question marks in the secondary, but they did improve it with some transfers coming in there as well. And then the receiving core is the one thing I do have questions about right now. They have some young and promising receivers right now, but they lost a lot of pass catchers from what was an elite unit last year. And we saw Carson Beck at Georgia. He needs really good weapons to succeed. Last year at Georgia, without Brock Bowers, without Ladd McConkey, his passing grade dropped by more than 10 points last year, right? So that was an issue for him. Will it be better at Miami with worse defenses going against in the ACC? We'll see. But I don't think he could have done better replacing Cam Ward, the number 1 overall pick in the draft, with Carson Beck, who in my opinion is still a top 5 quarterback in college football. There's a lot of people at Miami already loving Carson Beck right now. I saw some quotes saying he's the next number 1 overall pick at Miami. Don't know if I would go that far, but I'll go with Carson Beck, in my opinion, as the second best quarterback in the conference behind Cade Klubnik at Clemson. I'll go with those two to make the title game, and Clemson, again, like I said before, is a pretty obvious pick to win the ACC this year.
I might have mentioned this when we did their preview. You want a weird fun fact about Miami's schedule? They don't leave the state of Florida till November 1st.
That's just insane, man.
They have 6 home games, and their 1 road game is Florida State. They don't leave the state of Florida till November 1st. They only leave the state of Florida 3 times the whole year.
That's crazy.
Which feels odd to me. But no, we're going to know early. We're going to know out of conference with Miami if Carson Beck's about it. I mean, you got Notre Dame and Florida as 2 of your out of conference games.
We got Ryan Nelson in the chat saying Georgia Tech or Louisville will play Clemson in the title game. I like those two again.
I almost went Louisville. We're very high on Louisville around here. We like Miller Moss. We like the fit.
Interviewed Miller Moss last year.
We like the fit with Jeff Brom. And you look at Louisville's schedule. The thing with Louisville is kind of part of their schedule. They are at Miami on a Friday night. They host Clemson on a Friday night. And they're at SMU the week after Clemson. They're playing some of the tougher teams here. That Louisville-Miami game in mid-October at Miami is going to be fascinating. Maybe the biggest game in the ACC this year.
Yeah.
If we're just shooing in Clemson to the title game. I almost went with Louisville as well, but I wanted to be fun. I wanted to pick a wild card. I really do actually think, I'm telling you, I think Duke is in that mix. They were very underrated last year.
Well, you wanted to be fun. E&R also has Duke versus Clemson as his title game too.
Manny Diaz got it rolling. I'm telling you, if they're any better in the passing game than they were last year with their secondary and what Manny Diaz is building there, head-to-head, they're a problem. And I'm telling you, they have one of the easier ACC schedules, aside from, yes, having to play Clemson. But I'm telling you, don't sleep on them. We'll see what Darian Mensah looks like up at the Power 4 level, but I think it's going to be fun to watch.
Hey, thanks for watching another episode of the PFF College Football Show. Please make sure you guys subscribe to the channel.
Also, subscribe to PFF Plus at subscribe.pff.com for all of the same data and grades that we use in our show, plus fantasy tools, betting tools, and our mock draft simulator.